Cherie Ariano of Divine Light Quantum Healing offers energetic healing services and healing tools. Her healing techniques use a high frequency and high dimensional healing modality called the crystalline healing light. This technique is an innovative and advanced vibrational healing modality that harmonizes all aspects of the human being. These oils, elixirs work on emotional healing, chakra balancing, and physical ailments through aromatherapy and crystal healing. Cherie sent us some of her bracelets. Deb has the I Am Loved bracelet. She has noticed that she loves the aroma of the oils. It gives her a sense of calmness and being loved. As for me, I have the I Am Protected bracelet and essential oil elixir, which are both made with the black obsidian gemstones. These bracelets have made a difference in our lives. Check out her store today at CherieAriano.com. That's CherieArellano.com. Use the promo code Beyonders and save 10% off your order. Divine Light Quantum Healing. It's like healing in a bottle. There's a ghost in the house. Hola everyone, broadcasting live from the Napa Valley wine country just outside the mystical Sonoma Mountains. This is Beyond the Strange. I'm your host, Dave Cruz, along with my good buddy and yours, Russ Bailey. And we've got a great show for you tonight. Of course, the numbers to call in tonight is 1-415-891-9083. We are streaming from Strange Days Media Digital Network, and we got lots and lots to talk about. But first, please follow me on Twitter. That's Dave Cruz. That's Strange Dave 70, and the show Beyond Strange Days 2015. Remember, that's for Twitter. Also, like and follow Beyond the Strange Facebook page. Join the rest of the Beyonders on Facebook in the Beyonders crew group. There you'll find Russ is the admin, and he does an amazing job, much better than me on the Facebook group. But yeah, so you want to do that. Also, let's see what else we got going on here. There is an official Beyond Strange Discord channel, the Strange Chat Room, where there are plenty of fringe topics to discuss with a friend during the show or get more information about a certain subject. You can always go to beyondstrange.com, click on the show tab at the top of the page, and fill out the rest to get you hooked up to the Strange Chat Discord room. Also, you can reach me on Telegram and Signal under Dave Cruz, or write an email with questions, comments, guests you'd like to hear or see on future shows. And you can always write to dave@beyondstrange.com. And please make sure to subscribe to Beyond Strange YouTube channel. Please hit that like button or leave a comment during the live stream after reviewing a video. Follow us on Twitch for live streams as well. And that's Thursday nights for this month at 7 p.m. Pacific time and 10 o'clock Eastern. Set your alerts to receive new notifications. Follow, like, and subscribe, of course, on both of those channels on Twitch and YouTube under Beyond the Strange. Also under Strange Days Media for YouTube as well. So do that. Okay. The links are at beyondstrange.com, so you can't go wrong. All right. So I got a little bit of more news there, but before I do that, let me just say hola again to my good buddy, Mr. Russ Bailey. Russ, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, sir. How's it going, brother?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah.
I am a little under the weather, and it could just be allergies. It could be post-COVID stuff. You never know. After this whole thing, and I don't like talking about it as much. I really,
Right.
I try not to talk too much about the whole COVID thing, but it is what it is. So just sometimes I'm on par, sometimes I'm not. Not sure what's going on with the chat. It's doing some funky stuff here.
Speaking of the chat, we've got a packed house in there tonight.
Well, who do you got? Who we got?
Let's see. We got Jose. What's up, Jose? Dragon Rose. I've got Carl CMJ, my good buddy in Black Sky Paranormal, lead investigator with me. Can't wait to get out and investigate with Carl. I've also got James Salcedo from Salcedo Media. He has an excellent podcast also.
Yes, he does.
Rivers is out tonight, or she's in the chat. Man, it's great to see everybody. Dragon Rose, I think I already mentioned it, but I'll say it. That name's so nice. I'll say it twice. Great to see everybody. Thanks for joining us this evening, guys. Got a great show in store for you. Lots of good Halloween stories. You can call in, tell us your scariest ghost stories. We'd love to hear them tonight.
I'm counting on it. I'm actually counting on everyone, at least everyone in the chat room, to call in. The number's there, 415-891-9083. We're gonna first we're going to kick off the show with some stories that I've found that are worth mentioning, and they're pretty cool. We'll get your reaction, of course, to that, and then as the show goes on, I'll make sure to keep an eye on the phone lines for your phone call. So, anyways, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you very much for everyone joining us in YouTube. By the way, Russ and I are in there. We're keeping an eye on your chat and comments as well in there. Greatly appreciate it. And I actually have one announcement. So next week, we're still going to have the show on Thursday night. Like I said, it will be at 7. Miss Varla Ventura, author and investigator, Varla Ventura, of Varla Ventura's Paranormal Parlor, Ghost Seances and Tales of True Hauntings, along with Fairies, Pukas, and Changelings, a complete guide to the wild, wicked, enchanted realm, will be joining us next week for the kickoff for Halloween, of course, Halloween month. So please excuse my voice. Like I said, it's just right now, but I'm trying to stay distracted, but not really doing too well, but I'm doing my best. Anyways, so yeah, we got Varla Ventura joining us next week. You guys don't want to miss that. It's going to be a great show. Yes, Rivers, Varla is very lovely, and she's very knowledgeable about a lot of lore, especially back in Ireland and a lot of places like that. She has wonderful stories to talk about, and she's got some new paranormal experiences to talk about as well. You'll like that, Russ. She does do a little investigating herself, so that's pretty cool. And she has to do a lot of investigating for her books, of course. So, all right, that's what's happening next week. Varla Ventura will be joining us. All right, so Russ, we have a couple of stories here, and I was thinking maybe we should play a little bit of ooky spooky music to go along with it. What do you think?
Yes, that sounds great, man. I tell you, it's the best time of the year. We love Halloween season. Hey, and just to let you guys know, coming up on the 15th of this month, if you listen to really scary music, Sirius XM Scream is returning from October 15th to October 31st. Great channel.
Love it. Fantastic. Let's do that. All right. So, well, on the top of the list of these stories, we have, of course, Bloody Mary. And Bloody Mary lived deep in the forest of a tiny cottage and sold her herbal remedies for a living. Folks living in the... Hold on, let me get this down just a little bit more. All right, there we go. That was kind of overpowering a little bit. All right, so this is actually an excerpt from Spooky, Pennsylvania, and retold by S.E. Schlosser. She lived deep in the forest in a tiny cottage and sold herbal remedies for a living. Folks living in the town nearby called her Bloody Mary and said she was a witch. None dared cross the old crone for fear that their cows would go dry, their food stores rot away before winter, and their children take sick of fever, or any number of terrible things that an angry witch could do to her neighbors. Then the little girls in the village began to disappear one by one. No one could find out where they had gone. Grief-stricken families searched the woods, the local buildings, and all houses and barns. But there was no sign of the missing girls. A few brave souls even went to Bloody Mary's home in the woods to see if the witch had taken the girls. But she denied any knowledge of disappearances. Still, it was noted that her haggard appearance had changed. She looked younger, more attractive. The neighbors were suspicious, but they could find no proof that the witch had taken their young ones. Then came the night when the daughter of the miller rose from her bed and walked outside, following an enchanted sounds that no one else could hear. The miller's wife had a toothache and was sitting up in the kitchen treating the tooth with an herbal remedy when her daughter left the house. She screamed for her husband and followed the girl out the door. The miller came running to the nightshirt. The miller came running in his nightshirt. And together they tried to restrain the girl, but she kept breaking away from them and heading out of town. The desperate cries of the miller and his wife woke the neighbors. They came to assist a frantic couple. Suddenly, a sharp-eyed farmer gave a shout and pointed towards the strange light at the edge of the woods. A few townsmen followed him out into the field and saw Bloody Mary standing beside a large oak tree, holding a magic wand, and was pointed towards the miller's house. She was glowing with an unearthly light as she set her evil spell upon the miller's daughter. The townsmen grabbed their guns and their pitchforks and ran toward the witch. When she heard the commotion, Bloody Mary broke off her spell and fled back into the woods. The far-sighted farmer had loaded his gun with silver bullets in case the witch ever came after his daughter. Now, he took aim, shot at her. The bullet hit Bloody Mary in the hip. She fell to the ground. The angry townsman leaped up on her and carried her back into the field, where they built a huge bonfire and burned her at the stake. As she burned, Bloody Mary screamed a curse at the villagers, and if anyone mentioned her name aloud before a mirror, she would send her spirit to revenge herself upon them for the terrible death. When she was dead, the villagers went to the house, into the woods, and found the unmarked graves of the little girls the evil witch had murdered. She had used their blood to make her young again. And from that day to this, anyone foolish enough to chant Bloody Mary's name 3 times before the darkened mirror will summon the vengeful spirit of the witch. It is said that she will tear their bodies to pieces and rip their souls from their mutilated bodies. The souls of the unfortunate ones will burn in torment as Bloody Mary once was burned, and they will be trapped forever in the mirror. You think of that one, Russ?
Yeah, pretty crazy. It's similar to an actual folklore we have in southern West Virginia. It's called the Legend of Black Annie, and they actually made a movie about Black Annie. And supposedly, if you're in a room with a mirror, you turn off the lights, and you keep saying "Black Annie come through, Black Annie come through," you'll see her in the mirror, which is kind of crazy. But I think mirrors are definitely a portal to another dimension, possibly, or definitely a way to communicate.
Yes. Yeah, and really quick, cool. I just want to say thank you, Mike Jordan, for joining us in the YouTube chat.
And Heidi.
Oh, and Heidi, thank you very much.
And Suzette is also on her way in, she told us.
Oh, awesome. Right on.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Great to hear from Suzette.
By the way, James Salcido, if you want to call in, that phone number is 1-415-891-9083. Again, that number is 1-415-891-9083. And yeah, something about mirrors, huh, man? A lot of Hollywood movies use mirrors for a lot of different reasons. You were talking about Black Annie. There's another movie coming out, and it's actually a remake of I think it's late 1980s or maybe early 90s scary horror film, Candyman.
Yeah, it's already out, actually.
Yeah, and same thing. It's really bizarre.
Great stuff.
You say his name in the mirror, and next you know, light disappears, or the light goes black, and then when it comes back, Candyman's right behind you, just ready to pounce on you. So, pretty interesting about the mirrors thing. I think we got James Salcido. You're live on Beyond the Strange.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
James, how you been?
Good. Just keeping busy.
That's fantastic, man. It's good to hear your voice. Haven't really got to talk to a lot of people for a long time. We paused the show for a while. And then, of course, in August I got COVID, and it's just kind of laying low, trying to take it easy. Tonight's not one of my best nights, but I'm having fun already. So, uh, good way to start the Halloween season.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I've been having fun already. Just all the shows on these subjects, and then just doing my own, but just listening to all the podcasts out there about all this. I mean, I listen to it all year round, but it's fun this time of year as well.
Yeah, exactly. And you have a podcast as well.
Yeah, yep. Salcedo Paranormal, and I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Um, and I do the live show on my Discord stream or Discord server, and then I release it to a website podcast page, and then I do every once in a while I'll do a special interview. I just figured out I just solved my major tech issue I had with doing interviews, so I'm gonna be doing an interview on my own show again pretty soon.
I'm glad to hear it, brother. That's it's really good to hear your voice, and I know you have something cool for us to hear from you. So, what do you have for us tonight?
I was still trying to decide which one, because I have many, but I guess I could go with because I know we've talked before on the shows about the ghost cat that I have that stops by here once in a while.
That's
My
right.
apartment, I mean.
Yeah.
I think it may have stopped by again recently, just for a little bit, because my my own cat was up on a cabinet. She likes to get up on this one cabinet that's basically the tallest place in the apartment
Hmm.
and just hang out there. But I heard the sound of something like cat size brushing against one of my closet doors. And at first I thought, well, maybe Logan, my cat, had jumped down while I was in the other part of the apartment, and I didn't know it. And I didn't think about it as it was happening until later on when I heard Logan still on top of that cabinet moving around. So I still don't know for sure what that was. I think it might have been the ghost cat just walking by. Because I have metal, my closet doors are metal, and they have like, I don't know what you call them, like grates or whatever, so the air can go through. And so they make a good amount of noise when something brushes against them, you know.
That's
So
got to be. Do you ever like you know get, I don't want to say scared, but maybe startled sometimes when you maybe hear some noises or something like that? If it's like your ghost cat or maybe something else.
yeah, I do get startled sometimes. I don't really get frightened as much as I used to, but it can still startle me. Um, I still once in a while. It's funny when another day when I was recording one of my streams, I heard like four solid knocks on one of my cabinet doors in the kitchen, which is basically right behind my computer where I sit. And I was recording. I don't think it picked it up because it was too far away.
Hmm.
But so little stuff does still happen here and there around here.
Yeah, I'd be kind of startled about hearing some noises here and there, and I actually have a weird thing to share as well. But Russ, what do you think about that? The ghost cat that hangs around James.
Well, there's a lot of people have that experience too.
Hmm.
I definitely
Mm,
think,
yeah.
I know the Bible says that, or alludes to the fact that animals, when they pass, they go back to the dust that they were formed. But, you know, to me, though, cats and animals in general, they all have personalities, man. So it's definitely
Hmm.
could be some energy that's left over from a deceased cat. But I know every cat I've had, man, each one has been different, has their own personality. Dude, it could even be that cat's way telling you, letting you know he's there, and
Yeah.
just let him know that he cares for you and everything. And just want to say also, great to see Night Stalker in the chat. Derek, yeah, Derek will he's also on Pulp Addicts podcast with us, man. What a great guy, man. Great to see you tonight.
I was just going to say
Stalker.
1/3 of the Pulp Addicts pod, even though Gigi's, hung out with us the first couple of the show, the new show that we do on Monday nights, which is going to be moving to. There's going to be a lot of changes, but we'll definitely keep you guys in the know. Yeah, that's been a pretty good show, and it's more about nerd stuff that we all love and cherish, like Star Trek, and we talk about comic books, and now Russ and Night Stalker are going to start talking about Magic the Gathering, card games, and all kinds of good stuff. Pop culture, just it's really cool stuff. Do you get into that stuff, Jay? I know you like Marvel and DC, right?
I do. I'm not as into it as I used to be because of my vision changing over time. But yeah, I do like it, and I've tried to. I caught your first show. I don't think I've gone back and listened to the second show. I've gotten a lot busier than I used to be. And just another note about I mentioned my first interview. It's actually going to be basically like a do-over of the interview I had with the Night Stalker.
Okay.
He's going to be my first guest.
Fine. Yeah, that'll be great.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to him.
I think that's awesome. I know there's some people that's been joining us in the live chat and the YouTube. I'm not seeing who it is, but welcome. And thanks for joining us. So what else do you have for us, James? You got another story before we let you go?
Yeah, well, I was thinking of my grandparents' house. I talked about this other day on another show.
Let me cue up a little bit of music just so we can get the ambience going here. So here we go.
Yeah.
And while he's doing that, James, just have to say you do an outstanding job with your podcast.
Yes, sir.
Very enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's a lot of fun. I'm still learning how to do it, but it's a lot of fun.
That's cool. It's really fun to do. So yeah, without further ado, let's hear your story.
So I've had a lot of experiences, but this one is something that I've had other witnesses to the same thing over time. So this took place at what used to be my grandparents' house and my older sister's house for a time. My grandma, decades ago now, both of my grandparents have passed, but she was in the kitchen one day, and she left the kitchen for a minute, and when she came back, she saw a woman standing at the stove in a blue dress with a white apron. And as soon as my grandma got there, the woman just disappeared.
Wow.
Now, not long after that, she went over to the neighbor's house to talk to the neighbors because they were friends. And she was talking with the neighbor wife over there. And while she was there, she saw a picture of that same woman. And it turns out that woman was the neighbor husband's mom, who owned the house first that my grandparents eventually got.
Oh, wow.
Now, my grandma was not the only one to see this person. My dad saw her a couple times, once in the stairwell, I believe another time in the kitchen. He saw her on the stairs landing, sweeping the landing on the stairs, going upstairs. And she always just disappears, basically, not long after she's seen. But I remember this is all kind of years old stuff, but and then later on, my cousin and I saw her. And this is the same cousin that I had my first experiences with. So we were surprised, but after having other experiences at his house, we weren't really that frightened, because it was in the middle of the day, when we would see this woman on the landing and the stairs, and she'd just be standing there and just smiling and looking down at us.
Hmm.
And then so she wasn't seen again after that, but about not long after my grandparents passed, my grandma passed, my sister and her family moved into the house. And my sister had heard all these stories from everyone before, and she was interested in these things. So this one night after after the kids were in bed and everything, she decided to try something that, she'd seen on TV, where she turned on the voice recording app on her cell phone and asked if the woman was still there. We knew her last name and everything. And of course she, waited, and she hit the recording going, and then she stopped it. And she played it back, and she got a woman saying, "I'm still here."
Oh, jeez.
So we think that she.
No, I got chills now.
Still there.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it wasn't anything bad. It's like she was just still there. She liked the house still, and I mean, my family was there for a good 30, 40 years. I don't know, closer to 50, even a little bit over. So I wonder now if she kind of grew attached to them from being there that long, And yeah, so and I feel like my grandparents also stopped by there for a while my sister was living there at night, just to check on things, and I'd be staying there sometimes at night, and I would just sense them kind of moving around the kitchen and the living room, and but it was never a bad feeling, but it was very interesting.
That's actually pretty cool that you mentioned that story, because this is what I wanted to share. Is this just happened to me like either last night or the night before, but I felt like I wasn't asleep, but I think I was having some kind of like either vision in my head or something like that, but I was laying in bed, and there was two elderly ladies that were like sitting on the couch on the couches in our living room, and I'm thinking to myself, why am I dreaming this, or is this something that's popping in my head? And I recognized both of them, and one of them is my aunt, who's not deceased, but she just turned 93, and then the other one is my grandmother, who has been gone for decades. And it was so clear. They were actually knitting. They were just doing their crochet, and it was just really bizarre. Really bizarre. And they didn't talk or really interact very much. I just found that was very interesting, that you get relatives that that pop in your head like that. What you got going, Russ?
I've had several paranormal experiences through my whole life. I'll never forget one time when I was in middle school, junior high, and my grandpa, or actually this is in high school. Never mind. My grandfather had passed away in 1991. And I don't know if I was dreaming or not, but I was asleep in my bed, and all of a sudden I woke up and I saw him in the foot of my bed. And and then I also had the dream when I was staying at my grandparents' house with my grandmother. I would stay with her at night after he passed on, because she just was afraid to stay by herself.
Right.
Woke up, saw him at the foot of my bed also. So it's kind of weird, Maybe it was my grandpa saying, he missed me. I didn't feel threatened or anything by it, but it's weird how we'll see loved ones, in dreams or, in a waking sense, waking from a dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I had my grandma come to me in a dream not long after she passed, And it was very interesting. I don't want to take up all your time. I could tell that, or you can move on. But yeah, it's interesting stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely appreciate you calling in. And once again, let everyone know when's your podcast, James.
Yeah, it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it's on my Discord server. If you go to my podcast webpage, which is salcedoparanormal.podbean.com, that has all my social media links, and I always post the link to my Discord server in there before the stream, so you can get into there pretty easily that way. And and then I post it to the podcast page right after. So
awesome, fantastic. Yeah, and if you ever want to just drop it in Strange Chat or something, give us a heads up too as well. That'd be fantastic.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, man, you have a great evening, and I'm sure we'll talk again before Halloween. But happy Halloween to you and yours, and to your ghost cat.
Thank you.
And your a live cat.
And your live cat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotta remember the live cat
Thank
too.
you. It was great to hear from you both again.
Great to hear from you, James. Have a good night.
Good to hear from you, man.
You too. Yeah.
James Salcedo, everyone. That was a really good call. That was great.
Yeah. What a great guy, man. I mean, he's had so many experiences over the years. I love just listening to what he has to say. Just a great person, man. Just one of the nicest people you ever met.
Very nice. Very, very cool. Very, very low key. That's really cool. I believe we missed a call from Mike J.
Cool.
So Michael Jordan, if you're listening, go ahead and call back and I'll get your phone call. Until then, we can go with another scary story that we have here. So
awesome.
Let's see, what's this one about? Oh, we actually got the phone call coming in, so let's do that. All right, you are live on Beyond the Strange.
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. How you been?
Good.
What you got for us
well,
tonight?
We're calling it about stories.
Yes.
So, when I first moved out of high school, I moved into a house. It was a haunted house.
Ooh. Okay.
And there's 3 guys living there.
Okay.
And we had some things happen, periodically. But this one story kind of stood out to me. The house was a big, huge stucco house, 9-bedroom house, back on a lake, about a mile. Couldn't really hear, the highway itself. It was very, very quiet. And we were all basically trained horses, had a great place to be for that. And some stuff had happened. So we were kind of messing around with the house, going in and out, looking at it. And it had an attic. And it had one of those pull-down ladders. So we decided one day to go up there and kind of mess around with it. And all we found was like lots of old newspapers and old clothing that was stored up in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's this one huge trunk that was on the far end of it. So it came up. It was a pull-down ladder. So if you go up it, you stood there and looked, and you could walk through it. It was, it was a A-frame roof. So if you stayed in the center of it, you could stand up quite nicely. But the trunk was all the way on the other side of the attic.
Mm-hmm.
So we went over there, looked at it, opened it, and just found a bunch of like newspapers and again more clothing and stuff like that. So we shut it and looked around for a little bit, and then went back down, downstairs. And that night, I think about 1 or 2 in the morning, you hear this bump, 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 and we all heard it at once. And it kind of went on for a few minutes. So the next morning it was Saturday night or Sunday morning, early Sunday morning. So we get up for breakfast and whatnot, went out and feed the horses. Then we come back and we're sitting at the breakfast table, finishing up everything, and nobody would mention it. We're all kind of looking down at the table. Nobody wanted to take eye contact or talk. So finally one of the guys says, "You guys want to go check?" And I said, "Well, okay." So we went back upstairs and pulled down the ladder. right? It's all pulled down. We looked up. That trunk was sitting at the edge of the stairwell.
Oh.
Jeez.
And that bump sound and the dragging sound, something or someone drug the trunk all the way across the attic.
Oh, jeez.
That would freak me out for sure.
Yeah, definitely some powerful poltergeist activity there.
That's what it sounds like.
Oh yeah, we had I guess the one bedroom there was the largest bedroom, but it had a walk-in closet and was connected to the bathrooms. And I'm assuming it was probably the person that would stay there, caretaker, whatever, get things ready, because it was basically a weekend party house. It had a dining room that sat like 25 people. Now it was built for it. And the bedroom I had, you would always smell a woman's perfume in it, right? So I went around. I got rid of everything there. I got rid of any kind of scented anything. Everything was unscented.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the walk-in closet, and I had a pair of field boots I used, on a daily basis for riding horses and stuff. And I'd always clean them up and put them in their boot trees and put them back in the closet, right? And shut the door. And several times, a couple of months or a few months' time, I would, wake up early in the morning and the closet door would be open. And I'd go in and look, and in the beginning, I never left to look for my boots. So I'm looking around, and you get an eerie feeling when you do it, because you wake up and you shut it when you went to bed.
Yeah.
I went out the hallway. Somebody or one of the ghosts had taken boots and carried them out into the hallway. They would always be sitting, if you're going out into the hallway, they were always to my left.
Trippy.
Well, let me ask you something, Mike. Do you think this could have been poltergeist activity, or do you think it could have been ETs?
Ooh, good question, Russ.
It's poltergeist. Because one of the guys actually saw a little girl. Because you'd hear something off in the hallway, down with the other rooms. Light would go on, go off. And then one of the guys, he was a bedroom down from me. And he heard this running up into the hall. And we were asleep. We didn't hear it. And he got up in the morning. He started yelling, "Y'all see that?" And of course, we're all, and we never slept good there because we were always on edge a little bit. And so we wake up and go, what happened? Do you see that little girl? No. He says, yeah, she was running in the hallway. She stopped at my doorway and looked at me. Now, what we started thinking about was there was another house, because this is a 750-acre farm, right? There was another one, I guess, going towards Warrenton. It was another 750-acre farm, but it was a house they used back in the 50s, I think, for kids that were mentally ill.
Oh, okay.
Or retarded. We would call them retarded, but they hadn't used that thing in years. When we moved in the house, we were replacing other people that were caretakers there. One of the guys happened to get it. We thought, it's a great place for horses, and we can really kind of, get out and train and ride and show and all this stuff. And but that was the next farm over. And since he saw a little girl, we started thinking about it. A lot of the kids there never started thinking possibly that they moved over, or come over to that house, because it was basically one big piece of property at one time. Then I think later on it kind of got divided, but it was, big parcels. But we were kind of thinking maybe they were coming from there, because it was just kid stuff, little pranky stuff, nothing, dangerous, but just like kids would play, do stuff like that.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I don't know if that would, it would definitely be weird, but I don't know if that would scare me to find boots and, things moved around. It would definitely probably irritate me, if anything.
Yeah.
But for sure, it's definitely interesting, and it is kind of crazy.
Yeah, none of us really got. Except for that one guy, he didn't like it. He got scared of it. But most of the time, he just sort of kind of went with it. I mean, I was having fun with it.
That sounds like something that I could see you having fun with, actually. So that's cool, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, man.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, and I'm looking forward to talking one-on-one with you tomorrow.
All right. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, bud. Have a good night. Thanks, Mike.
Take care, Mike.
Mike J, everybody. So got 2 callers in. Pretty good. Yeah, I'd love to hear anybody else out there who wants to call in. Thanks, Courtney, for joining us in the YouTube chat, by the way.
Yeah. Courtney Karras is she's a member of the Beyonders crew and a big Ghost Adventures fan. She runs the fan page. I definitely want to get her onto the show one time, talk to her about paranormal. Really cool lady.
Yeah, that'd
Thanks
be cool.
for joining us, Courtney.
Yeah, you're welcome to call in if you'd like. Just, if you want to say hi, or got a spooky story that you'd like to share, that'd be great. So the numbers in the YouTube chat and in the Twitch chat, it is 1-415-891-9083. Again, that number is 1-415-891-9083. And we got time for another call and another story. So let me see if I can find something that's worth reading. Let's see if we can find a small one, because we don't have that much time. And then while we're waiting, we'll definitely get somebody on the phone, hopefully. So call in with your story, something that you want to share that's spooky and Halloween worthy. Susan and Ned. This is called the Axe Murder Hollow, by the way. Oh, and speaking of murderers, I believe they caught the actual Zodiac killer finally after all these years.
Well, yes, I saw something about that the other day.
Yeah, and it was somebody who they caught him because they were looking at other murders and other suspected people, and something matched somehow with the persons that they were investigating, and then they caught him. So yeah. Oh, excellent.
Hey,
we got another phone call.
Caller.
I think we got another caller. So let's do that. And you are live on Beyond the Strange. Thanks for calling.
This is Carl Gerald from Blackstaff Paranormal. You doing all right tonight, guys?
Hey, Carl.
What's up, Carl?
Not a whole lot, guys.
What you got for us tonight, buddy?
Well, one thing I was going to mention too, Dave. You mentioned seeing the 2 elderly women on your couch or whatever.
Yes.
One thing I haven't really shared with anybody. My dad died when I was 5 years old, so I was raised by my mother and my great aunt. And my great aunt passed about 12 or 13 years ago, something like that. But even now, on a weekly basis, like it's literally a weekly basis, I still see her in my dreams. And like, she's not really somebody I think about on a daily basis, but she's there in my dreams constantly. So I don't know if that's related in any way, but yeah, you're not alone as far as that goes.
Well, it's interesting because I typically, my dad passed in 2006, and typically it was at the end of 2005 going into 2006. But typically I'll have a dream about him once in a while. And, it's interesting because of course, when a loved one passes, you're distraught for quite a while, and you want to make sure they're okay. And I had that question in my head for a while, and then one night I had a dream about my dad, and it was like the same scene when he passed away, because he passed away at home. And so when he left, he left in our living room at my parents' house, and so they of course they when they came to get him, they wheeled him out on a gurney and stuff. And I had a dream probably about maybe a month after he passed, and it was the same scene except for he had a smile on his face, like a really big smile, like he was still alive, like he was playing dead, you know, like he was playing sleeping or something. And
Right.
that kind of gave me, you know, the impression that, yeah, he's wherever he's at, he's okay. You know?
Yeah, he's
That's right.
he's in a good place. That was kind of his way of letting you know, I guess.
Right. And I, you know, I haven't really had very many dreams about that dream anymore. That was the only dream I had like that. But if I had a dream about him or something, it was like, you know, he was in the house doing something, you know, and I'd come in and say hi or whatever and something like that. But yeah, man, it's really interesting how, you know, maybe family members do come back and they let you know how, you know, that they're okay, or they just want you to, you know
Yeah,
that they're still
they're
there.
just trying to give you a heads up somehow. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, let me get to brass tacks real quick. There's
Sure.
a couple I wanted to work in real quick. I know you guys are kind of running low on time. I've got so many between investigations that me and Russ do and stuff that I've experienced up to and before then. But I guess the first one real quick. I know the last time you guys had me on the show, I kind of hinted that we were going to go investigate my old fraternity house. And we did that back at the end of June. And my old house, like I said, I lived there for 4 years.
Hmm.
And it's a Marshall University. Marshall University has a lot of deaths associated with the campus anyway, between, you know, there was a plane crash in the 1970s that killed the entire football team, killed all the alumni. So there's a lot of death involved with that campus anyway. But the story behind my house is basically that apparently there was a lady named Gail and her 2 children. And they had like a log cabin or something that used to stand where the back parking lot to our house is now. And apparently it burnt down with them in it.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, they all got wiped out. So, you know, decades and decades of guys coming through the house, all saying the same thing, that they're seeing little kids running up and down the hallway, hearing rubber balls getting kicked, actually seeing a female shadow figure, like you could almost see like a veil, like a black veil.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember one time though, you know, we used to have a weekly chapter meeting on Sundays, and you know, there's probably about 30 guys that lived in the house, and it was an old army barracks basically that they converted into a house. So it's basically like 2 big long hallways, one upstairs, one downstairs. And then there's like 1 room down in the basement, and nobody wanted to live in the basement.
Yeah, I bet.
Because that was one of the most active places in the house. That supposedly, you know, coincided with where the cabin used to stand. So we would have a weekly chapter meeting every Sunday. So everybody in the house, everybody in the dorms was in this room and accounted for. So this is on a Sunday. Now, the Friday beforehand, we had a little get together or whatever down in the basement, and there's some DJ equipment down there or whatever. So it was all turned off and everything. So here Sunday rolls around and we're having our meeting, and again, everybody on campus, everybody in the house is accounted for and sitting there. And we begin our meeting, and all of a sudden the DJ equipment from down in the basement starts blasting like full volume. Like we can hear it coming up through the floor from the basement into the chapter room. And everybody in the room looks at the one guy that lives in the basement, and he's sitting there on the couch with his hands in the air like, I'm right here, guys. Like I'm not down there.
He's like, what?
So,
not me.
Yeah. That's the only guy it could have been. But he's like, no, I'm here, guys. So the president was like, well, does anybody want to go down there and turn that off? And
Right.
there's some nervous laughter for a second, and it cut itself off by itself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, like I was telling you guys the last time I talked to you, you know, that living there got me involved in this field, and like stuff like that.
Sure.
It was almost so common. You didn't even get scared or startled. You just kind of laughed at it. It's like, oh, that's Gail. Nah, that's the kids. Just, kids will go to sleep eventually. You just kind of made it almost like commonplace almost. But stuff like that was still, like I said, there was nervous laughter when that happened. But it's
sure.
like, well, not the first time, definitely not going to be the last time. But
right, yeah. I mean, if it's something that happens periodically, I could see how you can get used to it after a while and just be like, oh, it's just a ghost, And
yeah, you almost get desensitized to it, especially like when you live there. Like there were several times where, I'd be in my room and I could hear a rubber ball being kicked back and forth through the hallway. And I would open my door and there's like no ball, no nothing. Like there wasn't even a ball there, but like you could hear one being kicked. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'm going back to sleep. I got class early tomorrow. But yeah, you almost got desensitized to it. That place is so active.
interesting. What do you say about that, Russ?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of trauma in that area there with the the house burning down. That's always a traumatic experience. It could be the spirits are a little bit playful and everything. It could be with that music turning on the DJ equipment. Maybe the spirits just wanted to be serenaded. But Carl, we're definitely going to have you on our Pulp Addicts podcast when we talk about magic. Carl and I play Magic the Gathering together relentlessly back in the day.
Relentless, I like that.
Many moons ago.
Yeah, fun fact actually. It's been 20 years. I mean, I still tinker around with it, but again, back when I was back in college, I actually qualified for a pro tour over in Tokyo. But the problem with that is, you win these pro tour qualifiers and they only cut you like a $500 check. Well, guess what? $500 isn't going to get me to Tokyo. So obviously I didn't go.
Right.
But at least I had that on my resume. At least I say, hey, I qualified for the Magic Pro Tour 20 years ago. I've got that going for me anyway.
There you go.
It's time to start playing again, man.
I think so.
Yeah,
awesome.
I have to shake the rust off.
Well, Carl, thanks for calling in tonight, man. We really appreciate it. And yeah, we're definitely got to get you on PAP one of these nights, and hopefully by then I'll be already familiar with the Magic the Gathering card game.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Like so, I've been out of the loop for a little bit myself, but we'll catch up together. That's fine, and just give me a heads up, guys. Anytime you have me, I'll be on. So.
All right, thanks, buddy, and have a good night.
All right, you guys do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Carl, everybody. Great show tonight, man. We've gotten 3 calls.
Yeah, man.
And somewhat, some stories, and it's been some really, really, really cool stuff happening tonight. But it's about that time, and we are definitely going to start heading out here. Remember, next week we're going to have Varla Ventura joining us on the show, and you don't want to miss that. Varla's a great author and investigator. He's got lots of stories to tell, and it'll be a really good show next week. Russ, where can we find you, buddy?
Facebook, Black Sky Paranormal, Twitter at bsky_paranormal. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Black Sky UFO. The Beyonders Crew on Facebook. And of course, beyondthestrange.com.
Beyondthestrange.com, indeed. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. And once again, I know an hour goes by really fast, so next week we'll definitely make it 2 hours. But definitely until then, have a great night. Remember, stay safe, stay strange, of course, and Asta, have a good night.